Hey Facebook, welcome to Real Life Cooking. Look, I have like a guest here
What's up,
today. We're just gonna get all of our technological stuff set up as usual. Ooh, you don't want to see my hallway. How can I show you my...
That's you. Got the beard.
Look at my lovely guest right here. We
What's
have
up, friends, Fit Fam.
Hey Sherry, sad you couldn't come by. Hope you feel better before the work week.
That's my lady over there. All right.
All right, just setting up Instagram over here. Let's see. Who else is there? Oh, hey Sherry.
Hope you're cooking live right now.
Hey Instagram, we are starting Real Life Cooking with Chefleen, and I have a special guest,
Hey, Chefleen.
Larry Hamilton here.
Chefleen.
I don't have any. I don't have names for my people.
What's up, everybody?
My people.
I'm happy to be here.
My people.
I'm happy to learn how to cook. I'm happy to share my
Welcome,
passion.
Girl Fire Gourmet, Morgan.
Look at the flying.
This gig, half a dozen dirhams. Erica, hi from high school. Welcome to Real Life Cooking. We're gonna go ahead and get started. People are gonna trickle on in, hopefully, because I know you guys are so excited to learn how to cook in the new year. It's probably like 60% of people's resolutions.
Yes.
I feel like we have like half and half resolutions here. We have people want to learn how to cook healthy, and people want to be fit,
Look healthy.
so we're like your gurus for today, of course. And today we're going to be talking about Whole Foods, or Whole 30. I don't want to call it a diet. It's Whole 30 way of eating,
Right.
which is basically it's an elimination diet. You eliminate a lot of things that can cause allergies or sensitivities, and then you slowly incorporate them back in, so then you can understand what's actually going on with your body. Before we get too much into that, I just want to introduce my friend and studio owner and fitness trainer, Larry Hamilton. He is, I'll let, go ahead.
Yeah. We've been friends for some time now, so going back. So I'm a studio owner. My gym is in the Bronx. What's up, Fit Fam? And we just transform lives through fitness. And I truly love the approach for the Whole 30 because it teaches people how to just take things out that they really don't need and then put it back in. You see the benefits of that by just maybe getting sick a little bit, but you get to pull it out.
Yeah, because we don't believe in diets. Like, diets don't really work. You know, they don't work. But this actually really helps you understand your body a lot more, which is why, honestly, I've never done it for the whole 30 days, but it's just good to be aware of how your body works.
You should do a dare.
A dare? We should do a challenge. And also, I didn't say hi to Larry's Fit Fam there watching in the Bronx and around. Welcome to Real Life Cooking. If this is your first time tuning in, I hope you learned something. Also, if you didn't know, you can cook along. I actually release the lists every week right before the show, and you can buy all the ingredients and cook along. I go slow enough, sort of, for you to be able to cook along with me, and then you end up with a delicious meal on Sunday night. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Today we are going to be making, do you remember what we're making?
Yeah, we're making turkey burgers, collard green wrap with jalapenos.
This is how you know normal people talk about food. Meanwhile, the chef inside me is like, collard green wrapped turkey burger, jalapeno turkey burger with avocado ranch and roasted sweet
Avocado
potato.
ranch,
Yes, that is what we are making. Basically a turkey burger, what he said. And before we get too into that, I would just want to talk about the main rules of Whole 30. So Whole 30 is about developing a healthy relationship with food, which you know is important as you are training clients, right?
Yeah.
So many people that want to be in shape don't have a healthy relationship with food. You either feel really guilty. What are some other things people feel?
Emotional eating, overeating, just not consuming the right type of calories.
Yeah, and our society just like pushes horrible food at you like all the time.
Being bombarded with advertisements.
Especially in New York, you're hungry. There's bagels, those sweet nuts on the street.
Don't trust that.
Don't eat street nuts. That sounds weird. But anyway, Whole 30 is basically it's about developing a good relationship with food, and you're eliminating 5 major things. You're eliminating sugar, alcohol, grains, legumes, which is like beans and lentils, and dairy. And then no alcohol.
No.
I know that's not the hardest thing. I don't know.
Sweets is the hardest thing for me.
Sweets is TT is a firm believer in Whole 30 and a finisher of Whole 30 twice. Congratulations. It can be done for those of you at home trying to do it or attempting to do it. Also, you don't want to eat too much junk food, and you have to make homemade everything basically, because the biggest thing, as TT said, is sugar hides everywhere. Everywhere. We'll get a little bit more into that later. But let's go ahead and start cooking.
Yes, let's do this.
The first thing that we're gonna do for our turkey burger, collard green wrap turkey burger, is blanch our collard greens. So you can, collard greens, leafy greens tend to have a lot of sand and dirt in them, and they need more of a washing than just like rinsing them underwater. So the best way, actually, and I'll let you do this.
Yes, I'm down.
You're just going to, and we're just going to keep them whole and intact, and we'll deal with them later. You're just going to dip them in a giant bowl of boiling water.
Take notes, people. Put the whole thing in.
Now, normally I would do this in the sink because it would be a lot less messy, but my kitchen is just a disaster on Sunday nights after the show, so it doesn't really matter too much. So you literally just sit them in the water and just let them sit there. And then you can like shake them around a little bit, just like this. Recently, actually, if you follow me on Instagram, I don't know if you saw, I saw some lady washing her greens with soap. And literally telling everyone that this is the way you clean greens. So if you saw that, that is not the way you clean greens. This is the way you clean greens. Any kind of clean, or green, leafy green, because sand really hides inside. You like Swiss chard, collard greens, basil has a lot of sand in it a lot of times. This is the best way to do it as well. Yes. And then, like I said, we're going to blanch them. So, blanching. Does anyone remember blanching from last year?
I do. So,
what is blanching?
Sherry and I, we blanch our greens, and it's a good way to keep the nutrients in your vegetables so you can absorb them when you're eating them. So you're gonna boil the vegetables for a short amount of time, basically.
Yes, exactly. So you need boiling water, and you want to make sure that you're salting your water, because it is your first layer of flavor on your vegetable. And we're going to add a lot of salt, but don't worry, it's not like absorbed and ruining your vegetable. It's just going to add flavor and help enhance the flavor of the natural vegetable. So we're going to add in some salt, and then literally I'm just going to have you can just move that whole bowl over. We're just going to literally dip them in the water and take them out. And I'll give you another bowl. That bowl sometimes cracks if it's hot. You could do, I would do half at a time. And turn your body this way so the people can see what you're doing.
This is good. This is like a real person cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, this is real life cooking. To show you, also we didn't get into how much. Yeah, just dip it in. You can't do it wrong. Just don't burn your hand.
Give me time on that.
Dip it in.
Yep.
And then you'll notice they're gonna turn a deeper green.
It is very green right now.
And they're gonna get a little more pliable. So that's literally you're done. You can take those out. Don't burn yourself. Tongs would also be a useful thing here, but you know.
Going in again.
We want to make this entertaining for you guys. So literally just dip them in. You don't need to boil them hard, but as you can see, they're nice and pliable and like super bright green now. Now the next step that you would want to do is just rinse them under cold water so that they stop the cooking process, and they don't get like. So see, he didn't even need my instructions the second time. Let's give it up for Hilary over there. All right, so I'm just gonna rinse these under cold water. If you can turn off that pot so we're not like burning hot out here. Oh, we don't need that anymore either. I'll take that. And then...
And feel free, if you have any fitness questions, you want any tips about your fitness journey, ask away. And as I'm cooking it up, right?
Yeah, you're cooking it up.
I'll answer your questions.
Yeah, that's the great thing about this show too. You can ask questions. Please join the dialogue. Let us know you're watching. Let us know any culinary questions. And take advantage of the expert guru here in fitness. One of the really cool things Larry does is animal training fitness. It's like
animal flow. Animal flow. So animal flow is a modality that mixes of martial arts, yoga, parkour, and it's just a way for me to just get grounded with bodyweight training, and something I can talk about a little longer after we do this. But I love it.
Great. Awesome. So we are going to get started on our turkey burgers. So what we need for these, and I don't remember, TT, if you could look at Instagram really quick and see if I put mustard on the list. But what we're going to need for this turkey burger is obviously ground turkey. And we're going to use some garlic, 2 cloves of garlic. We're going to use jalapeno to spice it up. Okay, awesome. And we are going to use 2 different spices. These are we're kind of going for an almost Latin feel, obviously, with the jalapeno and the 2 spices that we're going to be using. We're going to be using cumin and which, if you watched the show before, you know it's like my favorite spice. It adds a nice
Yes.
smoky flavor. Have you used cumin at home?
You use cumin. I need to get some
And all the
cumin in my life.
cooking that you do. Larry is a very avid cooker. As you
I'm an
see, he
advanced
really
chef.
handled those greens back
Yes.
there. And we're gonna use coriander. Coriander, I want you to smell it. It's like, what does it smell like to you?
Interesting. It just smells like a bunch of herbs. I don't
Come
know.
on.
I mean,
Close your eyes. Where does it take you?
Jamaica? No, it smells like herbs. Smells good.
It's very floral.
Okay.
That is the word
Yes.
that, you know, the culinary world we use to describe it. It's used, probably reminded you of Jamaica because it's used in curries a lot.
There we go.
So see, you're almost there. And then cumin, as I said, is very Latin-y. It's used a lot in Latin, Indian.
Yep. That is cumin.
Cumin, yes. So we're gonna add those two to our turkey burgers for some spice. And then we're also gonna add in some mustard. Let's see if mustard has, mustard has sugar. Mustard, okay,
And
so.
you use yellow mustard.
Oh.
Most time doesn't.
Yes, okay. So, Whole Foods, let's talk about condiments really quick. Well, actually, while we talk about condiments, I'm gonna have you open this package and just put it in the bowl. And I'm gonna start dicing this jalapeno. I'm gonna just go ahead and slice it in half, pull out these ribs and seeds because they're like 1,000 times more hotter than the actual flesh of the jalapeno. Now, warning question?
Oh, just one comment.
Oh, comment?
So, in regards to mustard and any condiments or anything you're gonna add to Whole 30, yes, you can use mustard. You have to always check the package. Yes, you can use
Mayo,
some types
yeah.
of bacon. You have to check the package. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah.
So that was the thing. That's what I wanted to highlight, or what I highlighted at the beginning of the show. Sugar hides everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm not, like I said, I'm not actually doing Whole30, but mustard. I normally add mustard to meatballs or like burgers because it really helps keep it moist, especially something like turkey that's very lean. And as Titi said, Dijon mustard, sugar often hides in there, but yellow mustard, there's no sugar often. But you're gonna get really good at reading labels if you're doing Whole30. Question.
So the question is, what brand of cumin are you using? But I think the real question is, what do you think is the best brand for seasoning? Does it matter?
So for seasonings, honestly, seasonings are really expensive depending on the brand. Like this, for example, I think was $8. I just bought it today, this coriander. But it's all natural, salt-free, gluten-free, non-GMO, preservative-free, no MSG, non-irridated. I don't even know what non-irridated means. Anyone? Someone Google that and let us know what non-irridated means. So obviously, like a brand like this is Morton and Bassett. It's gonna be like extreme healthy side. If you're really concerned about like any toxins in your body, you'd want to spend the extra money. Those big giant seasonings that you get at like the 99-cent store or like, you know, the lesser grocery store is not probably actually more filler than actual spice and seasoning. Trader Joe's, I guess we could trust Trader Joe's. This is Trader Joe's. I'm not a brand whore of seasonings. I just buy like whatever store I'm in, I just get what I need when I need it. But I really stay away from those gigantic ones because I know they are mostly fillers. There's no way that this costs $8 and then like a big one costs like $2.99. Like something is clearly wrong with the quality of that one. So I'm gonna continue chopping up this jalapeno. While I'm doing that, I want you to add a teaspoon of each of those things. And it's gonna, I actually do have this is 2 teaspoons. So half of this, you're gonna add to this. And I would start with the spices and then add the mustard because the mustard's gonna make it
sticky.
Yes. You're already on it. And I'm gonna be over here dicing up this jalapeno. I'm just cutting little matchsticks. You want a smaller spoon?
No, this is how I do it.
This is how it's
I live on the edge. This is how I do it.
And I'm cutting the jalapeno as tiny as possible because I don't want to have gigantic chunks of jalapeno inside of my turkey burger. So I have my little matchsticks, I line them all up, and now I have a small little dice on the back of my knife.
This is payback when I gave them the turkeys, right?
Oh yeah.
You can
I'm
take
like,
the lid
no.
off later.
TT too. That's good.
Yes. Your spices often come with these little shaker things.
Who else knew that?
These are dumb. Like, you can't actually if you really are measuring things, you can't really measure with them on. So I just normally end up throwing these away. I don't know why that's still on there. Also, you don't really ever want to shake your spices directly into something because that's how you end up with too much. And say you're shaking shaking this over a hot boiling pot, that steam from the pot is getting inside of the spice and actually kind of like making it clump up and like kind of can make it go rancid a little bit faster. So it's actually always better to measure out your ingredients and then dump them in instead of sprinkling over.
Like I'm doing it right here. Damn. So they got nothing on that. How's that looking?
Great, awesome. The next thing I'm gonna have, we'll just move this out of the way for Larry. The next thing I want you to do is microplane some garlic. So I'm gonna let you have a second to figure out how you would do that, and then I'll tell you how to do it. Because he's such an avid watcher of the show, he should know, right?
Here's what I'm gonna strip the this, and we're gonna get it off nice and easy. And you know, we're gonna go to the next one now because that one's being stubborn.
You know, you might need a knife.
Yeah, and to get the knife, I'm gonna go over here. Smush it, right?
Yep, smush it.
Sound effects.
It's like, you know, you're not, or I guess in fitness, how do you feel about fitness noises?
I think it helps, man. Your battle cry. And
So you don't think it's weird when people are in the gym like,
yeah, that's what you signed up for. This is what it's about. It helps out, especially if you're alone. You have no friends with you. You need to hear that voice, and that voice could just be yourself.
Okay. So I'm really into yoga, and I think it's really odd when people in yoga are like, ugh. Yoga is supposed to be meditative. If you're doing that, you're doing too much in yoga. Like, pull back. Know your limits. All right.
Boom.
So he found the microplane. We're on a good start. And then let's just move this off. So he's going to microplane this garlic. What microplaning the garlic is going to do is actually make a paste of the garlic. It's going to be really finely to incorporate in turkey burgers. And you just want to be really careful of your fingers. When you get to a point where you think you might shave off your fingers, stop, because I want to eat these burgers later. Right. I don't want to eat your finger. Welcome to Real Life Cooking. If you are watching or joining along, we make a meal from start to finish that makes sense for your life. You can cook along, you can ask questions, jump on in. I was so excited Larry's here. I didn't even introduce TT Lio. Our technological guru is over here relaying your questions to us. And anything, culinary, fitness, today of course, take advantage of Larry. Anything above the moon, the stars, I'll make up an answer. Question? Larry?
I have a question.
Yes.
What do I do with this now?
Okay, so he came up with a conundrum. Your garlic grates so finely that it often gets stuck in the microplane. Literally, you just, good time to take out your aggression.
Right.
Just tap it down.
That's when I'm bringing up my gym night.
I have a question.
Question.
Should you have a goal with fitness, or can I just work out just to work out?
Good question. I think a goal is going to keep you calibrated, but if you just one of those spur of the moments and that's your personality, go for it immediately before you convince yourself not to.
I have a question too, because sometimes when I haven't worked out in a long time, I'm like, what's the point of going to the gym? Like, I know I'm not going to go for another 2 weeks after this. Like, is it even worth it to just go once?
Absolutely. No workout.
Of course you would say that.
It's worse. Because look, with the whole thing is you want to just create a habit from working out, right? So if your habit is literally to stop and go every 2 months, at least you've got something going on. And then hopefully...
That's a very positive way of thinking about things.
You know, you pick up something, you pick up another trick or two at the gym, and you're working out 7, 8 days a week.
So
How many days?
TT and I are trying to get in shape. We have all the questions.
I have a question. How many days a week do you recommend working out if your goal is to lose 5 pounds?
5 pounds. What's your time frame?
8 months.
Oh man. So look, that's a good time frame. You're not gonna fail from that. A good weight loss per week is 1 pound a week, and you can do that by just tweaking your diet a bit. But if you're looking to lose for yourself 5 pounds, shoot for just not looking at the scale and just being active, like maybe 2 to 3 times a week. That could be a 45-minute, 30-minute workout.
How much cardio do you recommend?
I think your general standards for cardio, 30 minutes, two times a week.
30, not 20? That's how much I've been getting in
30?
lately.
I think you should do more lifting than cardio.
More lifting than cardio? Why should you do more lifting than cardio?
You do lifting. You help out grow those muscles, and when you grow your muscles, you help burn fat. And generally, everyone's fitness journey, you should be looking to burn fat instead of losing weight. A lot of times when you got that eye on the scale, you burn fat, you're more healthier, you got more lean muscles with that. And that all, you increase your metabolic burn. That metabolic burn will essentially keep you living. That pretty much means if I burn 2,000 calories just living my life, watching Netflix, not working out, that's a good number to be at. You do that by lifting. If you do more cardio, you essentially burn your muscle out, and you can't bring up that resting metabolic rate.
I also have heard, because I'm also expert on fitness, of
Yeah,
course,
most
if
definitely.
you have more muscles, you're constantly burning, like, your fat, right? Like,
Yeah.
so if your muscles are bigger,
Well-
you're, not constantly, but, like, you're more apt to be burning while you're just doing nothing.
Yeah, that's
Right?
your
If you're
resting
building your
metabolic rate.
muscles. Oh,
You want to keep that
what he
really
said
high.
in layman's terms. All right, so back to cooking. We are making turkey burgers, collard green wrapped turkey burgers. We have already blanched our collard greens. We just mixed up our turkey burgers. So we added, remember what we added?
Yep.
What?
It's all in there. They got the cumin.
We added
and
jalapeno, cumin, yes, cumin, coriander, jalapeno diced very finely. We added some mustard, which is not, we added Dijon, but yellow mustard is Whole 30 approved. We also added some salt. While he was talking, I added salt, a good amount of salt. Do not be afraid of salt. And I also added a pinch of lemon juice. That's going to bring out some acidity. And now we're just going to, all we have to do is shape our burgers. So when you're working with ground turkey, it's a really difficult, it's a really sticky meat. So the best way to shape your burgers is really going to be to wet your hands completely and then go ahead and shape your burgers from that. Go ahead and get there. Question.
So 2 questions. One question is, can you use the same recipe with ground beef?
Yeah, you could totally use the same recipe with ground beef. I just use turkey because a lot of people, when they're trying to be healthier, stay away from red meat. Can you eat red meat in Whole 30?
Yes.
Oh.
You eat all the meat.
You can eat all the
I
meat
like
in Whole
that.
30.
Protein, I like that.
And then the next question is from Steph Tronic. What's the best way to burn fat in just or the most efficient way to burn isolated fat in your abdominal region?
Isolated fat.
Larry
So-
probably hates that question.
So I'm going to answer it without going, because this is an hour show, right?
Don't go off on
I'm not going to go off. So I'm
It's
gonna-
focusing on cooking. Just kidding, but go ahead.
So, focusing on cooking, so that kind of question, that answer, your fat loss is going to be in the kitchen, right? But for exercises alone, I want you to think about it. You can't generally lose fat in one general area. You can only strengthen that area. So let's think about it. If you have a stomach that has fat in front of it, if you do all the crunches in the world, you're not essentially going to get that six-pack. The best idea is to just do exercises that burn a lot of calories. That could be whatever's good for your joint. So if you're running, you're essentially going to lose some weight. Once you lose the weight you want, you'll be able to do crunches to define those muscles. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, don't think of it as one isolated area. You will get stronger. You just got to keep forming those muscle patterns.
So work the whole body.
Work the whole body.
Yeah, because like if you have the layer of fat, it's kind of like you're wearing a jacket and no one can see your strength
You gotta
underneath,
show the
right?
goods.
All right, if you want to go ahead and wash your hands over there, we don't want to be spreading any sort of diseases around. So, if you're just joining us, welcome to Real Life Cooking. I'm Chefleen. We have Larry Hamilton, fitness studio trainer, owner, all of the above. We are making a Whole 30 approved meal, talking a little bit about Whole 30, talking a little bit about fitness. We have already blanched our collard greens, which we're going to be using instead of bread to wrap our burger in, and we've made our turkey burgers. We made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think this is actually the right amount. We made baby burgers, so probably everyone would eat 2. T2 would eat 6.
Yes, that's true.
But you can make them any size you want. Obviously, the size you make them is going to affect the cooking time. I generally like to make turkey burgers on the thinner side rather than the thicker side because turkey dries out, and if they're thicker, they're going to take longer to cook in the middle, so the edges are going to dry out. And to cook these, I'm going to put Larry in charge of this.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully they come out.
We got it.
We're actually going to heat up just a skillet, a little bit of olive oil, and then once your skillet is hot, you don't want to put them in when it's a cold pan because we want to get that sear, because searing makes the Maillard reaction, which brings about caramelization. and makes things more delicious.
That's
If we
right.
just put them in, and especially something like a turkey burger where we're actually really going to see it. It's not going to be hidden by like bread and cheese and all this stuff. We want to make sure that our eyes are watering before we even put it in our mouth.
Exactly.
So we're going to let this pan get nice and hot. We're going to add just a little bit of olive oil, and then you can start adding in the burgers. And other thing, you don't want to overcrowd the pan. Do you know why?
Yes.
Why?
All turkey meat matters.
No. We don't want to overcrowd the pan because overcrowding the pan will create steam, and steam is the will not let us sear properly. Moisture is the enemy of searing.
Truly an educational show.
Yes.
Very educational.
All right. So I'll switch spots with you,
Okay.
and we can bring these over here for you. Oh.
Where's our oil?
And right here we're going to use just some olive oil. And we have a spatula for you.
Yep.
Right there. And we're going to watch him and laugh right now. No, I'm just kidding. He's going to add in the oil.
Right, a quarter size.
Does the pan feel hot?
It's very hot.
Very hot. Okay, great. So, wait, that's
How
not
much?
enough oil. So, turkey burger. Actually, good job. So, you just want enough oil to coat the pan. This is a non-stick pan. You can also use cast iron if you like. That's good.
Is that good?
Perfect.
We did it.
Don't be afraid of using more oil when you're using turkey because it is a very lean meat. Yeah. If you're using ground beef, I would use less oil because ground beef has so much fat that seeps out of it. All right. Well, Larry. Oh, and we hear the sound, the searing sound. That's exactly what we want. And then also, what I forgot to mention, Larry, when you put them down, you don't really want to move them because that'll prevent from searing too. If you move it around, you're creating air, you're creating steam. So put it and just trust that it's going to come out good.
Set it and forget it. I got
Set it and forget it, exactly. And while he's doing that, I'm going to bring over the ingredients for our avocado dressing. Or actually, no, I'm not. We're going to talk about roasting sweet potatoes. So, sweet potatoes is like one of the only carbs you can eat on Whole30. Now they've added in you can eat potatoes, but sweet potatoes are really great. I think they're called complex carbs, right?
Yes,
like
yes.
they don't break down to sugars in your body necessarily. And roasting sweet potatoes is great. It provides a lot of great flavor. You don't really need to add butter, or I mean, I do add butter and honey sometimes, but you don't really need to because they are very flavorful and they're super healthful for you. But the only thing about roasting a sweet potato is it takes a ton of time. Putting this in the oven, it'll probably take at least 40 minutes, maybe up to an hour, depending on how big. And what are we short on here in America, in the world? Time. We never have enough time. That's our excuse why we don't cook. So, I have a great tip for you. We are just going to wash this off, rinse it off, because it does have a lot of dirt on it, because it grows in the ground. Vegetables come from the ground. And then, I'm just going to poke some holes in it. And poking the holes is going to allow some steam to escape. And then, I'm going to roast it in the microwave.
Going in.
And you guys are all like, oh my god, a chef is using the microwave. I'm sure, right? Let's be realistic. This is called real life cooking. We don't have an hour, 45 minutes to wait for a sweet potato to cook. I'm sure in your real life you don't either. Literally in the microwave, 6 minutes, and this will probably be done. If it is not done, I say probably. There's always probably when it comes to cooking. If it's not done, just keep going for another minute at a time because not all sweet potatoes are created equal. Some are big, some are small. Just 6 minutes in there, and then we'll test it out. Why is it? Oh, you know I don't know how to use my microwave still. I've lived here so long. All right,
So
6.
what about radiation or something?
Radiation. Everyone's scared of microwave radiation. So, has anyone known anyone that died from microwave radiation? There's not like a lot of cases. There's not a lot of cases. Basically, the microwave cooks with waves of energy, which is the radiation, but it attacks the water molecules in something, and the water molecules vibrate enough to create heat, which is why it's a really efficient way of cooking. Instead of an hour, it'll take 6 minutes to cook the sweet potato. And there's actually 2 different kinds of radiation. There's ionizing and non-ionizing. And without getting too deep into science, we're not Bill Guy the Science Night here.
Right. We appreciate that stuff.
Ionizing radiation is like the kind from X-rays, and it basically the atoms like react with electrons, and it removes the electrons from the item, which that's when your things get a little fishy. But non-ionizing, it moves atoms around to create that energy, but it's not affecting the electrons, so it's actually not messing with the chemical compounds or anything
Pretty
at
fun.
all of your food. Exactly. Question.
Question: do you notice any difference in taste or texture when you microwave versus when you roast it in the oven?
Great question. And we're going to do a taste test at the end of this because I've actually roasted some sweet potatoes beforehand. So I'm going to let Larry blind taste and see if he notices any differences.
Okay. All right.
Also, microwave. Oh, let's check on our turkey burger. Oh, good job. He didn't crowd the pan. He's erring on the side of caution. You probably could have put 4, but he put 3. Now, we don't want to flip our turkey burgers or any burger for that matter until you start seeing like juices on the top kind of running down. Because otherwise you're going to flip it over and it's going to be not cooked in the middle. Another way is you could cook them on both sides and finish them in the oven. I didn't want to turn on the oven today, so we're just going to cook them in the pan all the way through. They shouldn't take very long. The only thing you do want to check is you can lift it up to see if it's burning. So we can turn down the heat just a little. We just need that initial heat blast to get that color, but then we want it to slowly cook all the way through. All right. So those turkey burgers are cooking. We have our sweet potato in the microwave. Another thing, do you think microwave cooking ruins nutrients?
No, I don't. I personally don't.
You personally don't?
Because I do. 'Cause I do.
So you're just, what's the word when you're like, when you're, rationalizing
I'm
your
the expert
behavior?
I'm the expert. No, I feel like it's a quicker way, and it's just it keeps the nutrients in the food. That's what I know from it.
Okay, yeah, and you're absolutely right. Microwaving does not take away any more nutrients than cooking on the oven. In fact, it keeps more nutrients inside than cooking in the oven or on the stovetop because it's a faster way of cooking. The longer vegetables cook, the more nutrients are lost from them. You could probably flip those burgers now. So if you like your broccoli like super mushy, you're probably not even getting very many nutrients from that broccoli. Sad story, I'm sorry. So microwave cooking, not a bad thing, great time saver. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on our avocado ranch. If you're just joining us, we have a sweet potato in the microwave and Larry is working on our turkey burgers on the stove. He's searing those off. Question.
What do you think about using a cast iron skillet versus non-stick? Do you prefer one over the other?
Do you have any opinions on this, Larry?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's hear it.
I've had a cast iron skillet, and I felt like it brought the flavor out in the food, and that's all I know. But they're kind of hard to clean. You got to buy a specific cleaner for the cast iron. But as far as that, the taste is amazing with the cast iron.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Cast iron is going to give you better flavor. There's a reason they've been around for like millions of years. But they are very hard to clean. They're actually not that hard to clean. You just have to know the steps to clean them. When you're working with cast iron, you want to clean it like right when it's like not like hot, warm enough so you can touch it, but not like so hot that you're like steaming the house. You want to clean it like right away. That'll make everything come up a lot looser. And then there's a whole process of seasoning your cast iron because your cast iron should be non-stick, like if it's a good cast iron. And there's a whole process of seasoning your cast iron. And I'm not going to get into that now, but if you take good care of your cast iron, it is a preferred method. However, real life, it is a little bit more work to take care of a cast iron skillet. So non-stick, I actually prefer non-stick because it's just a little bit easier. But in terms of flavor, if you're really trying to develop flavor, cast iron is the way to go. And you have the time, cast iron is the way to go. All right.
Oh, Sherry, did you take notes on that? 'Cause it tastes great. All right.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and do our avocado ranch. So, we are gonna use avocado. Obviously, avocados are great. They're full of healthy fats. Basically every diet or food way of eating, you can eat avocados. I feel like there's no way you can't eat avocados. They're
great macro, yeah.
Exactly. And we're gonna use coconut milk, and we're gonna use mayo. There are brands of mayo that have no sugar. Like I said, I was being lazy today. I want to go to Whole Foods.
Real life.
Real life. But there is a brand called Primal Kitchen avocado oil mayo. There's Chosen Foods avocado oil mayo, and Stonewall Kitchen makes a mayonnaise that is actually Whole30 approved too. Yeah, basically, again, you need to read the ingredients on everything if you are doing Whole30. Sugar is lurking everywhere. Barbecue sauce, ketchup, mayo, salad dressings.
Milk.
Milk.
Question: what are other names for sugar inside of your ingredient list on the back of the label?
Other names for sugar: glucose, sucrose. Those are the two I have off the top of my head. Do you know any other names?
Those are the two I was gonna
Okay. So yeah, sugar comes in different forms. It has synonyms as well. Sneaky sugar. All right, so this is like super easy. You don't need a blender to do it, but it will be a little bit harder because mashing the avocado will take a little bit more. So we're gonna go ahead and do it in a blender because we want to make it easy. Question.
Yes. I have a comment from Sherry Greenwood Hamilton.
I know that lady.
She said, "LOL is too much work, non-stick all the way."
Yes, that's my sentiment exactly. When I'm cooking for myself, cooking for clients, cast iron all the way, of course. All right, so we are going to cut an avocado and just put it in the blender. Do you know how to cut an avocado?
Yeah, let's do this.
Do you really? I don't want you to hurt yourself. You know avocado injuries because avocado toast became so important. Like,
Avocado and
yes, that's a thing. Like in 2015, there was a rise of avocado-related industries. Oh, apparently TT was on that list of people that injured themselves.
Yeah. Don't do it the way I did it.
Okay, so let me explain. You're gonna hold it down and cut around, like keep the avocado there and cut around it. And don't use that knife's not as sharp. Use this one.
All right, guys.
Sharp knives are really important.
All right, guys, there we go. I just want to
I'm
show
like
that
not even watching.
anyone can do this.
So yeah, and yes, exactly. Rotate your avocado around instead of the other way around. I'm just gonna go ahead and switch out some of our turkey burgers.
All right, still got my fingers.
Did you cut all the way around it?
Yeah.
All right. So did it come apart? Oh, perfect. You got it. Now, how do you take that seed out is the next question.
I think I've seen this in a movie. You gotta like smack it and.
Yes.
Right.
But hold it firmly in your hand
Uh-huh.
and then not saw it in. You're going to literally like be confident in yourself and just hit it down.
All right.
Be confident. Confidence is key here.
Can I grunt?
Yeah, you can do your, okay, and then you're going to twist the knife and then just pull it out. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Now I just need you to scoop that avocado into the blender there.
All right, bucket list. Did it. Come on, here's a cook guy. Man, this is great. It's okay to get the little nuts.
Sherry's going to be expecting these turkey burgers at home, I'm sure.
I cook twice a year. Good stuff. I saw something weird where a guy cut the can opener open from the side. You ever see that?
On the
Mine
side?
that way.
Yeah?
Yeah. My can opener, you can only open it that way. But then you don't cut yourself on the inside. you cut
Yeah,
on the
they make
outside.
new can openers that like even keep like softer edges so you can't even cut yourself on the can. I have the old school one. Awesome. So yeah, you're just gonna use a spoon to scoop out the avocado into there. Next we're gonna add in our mayo. Yep, I added in our turkey burgers back there. Again, if you are Whole30 all the way, do not use Hellman's Real mayonnaise. There's nothing real about this mayonnaise. We're going to talk about that at the very end. But there's plenty of brands. If you need the brand, DM me. I'll let you know. We're going to add in some mayo, the rest of my mayo. We are also going to add in some coconut milk. So coconut milk comes in a can like this. This is not the coconut milk you would drink and put in coffee that's like dairy, like a dairy substitute. So coconut milk has two different layers. It has like a harder layer and then like a more liquidy layer. So like as you can see, you see that like more thicker. We're gonna use that part. We don't want to just pour in the coconut milk because we don't want so much of the liquid because we're trying to make a sauce, so we want it thick. So just try to scoop out that thicker part. A good way to make sure that you have that thicker part
I like this.
is to also can I have you cut open these garlics again since you're expert?
Yep.
A good way to make sure you get that thicker part is to just set your coconut can in the fridge for like an hour or so and all that thickness will rise to the top and you won't even have to finagle it around. Ah, we're making a mess. That's what cooking is about. And then we're also going to add in, the most amazing thing about Whole30 is that it really teaches you to appreciate fresh flavors, like herbs. A lot of people in our day-to-day use, we like skip the fresh herbs because we're like, oh, it's more trouble than it's worth. They're not really, but fresh herbs really make such a huge difference in cooking. So we're going to be adding, I washed off this parsley. I'm just going to, because I'm making this in blender, I don't even have to think about it. I literally am just going to add a handful of parsley and then maybe like 3 green onions. but just the tops of them. And I'm just gonna break it up. Now, if you have a less than amazing blender, you want to probably give your items a rough chop before you throw it in there. Luckily, I invested in myself last year, and I have a Vitamix, my favorite thing ever. So I could just throw everything in here. And then if you can just add those garlic cloves into there. I'm gonna check our turkey burgers back here.
Boom.
Our second little shift of them.
Anyone chimed in the LA Fit fam over there?
You have fam, but they don't have any questions.
No question. They just watching.
You guys are just so in awe, right? Your fitness guru is teaching you how to cook.
They're just waiting for some burgers. All right.
All right, so now we have our creamy elements. We have our mayo. We have our coconut cream. We have our herbs, the fresh garlic, the parsley, the green onion. We have our avocado, which is gonna help make it nice and thick as well. We want to add in some acid, because the great thing about ranch is literally like my favorite unhealthy thing to eat. I probably actually have packets of ranch, so you can make the sour cream in this cabinet back here that have MSG in them. But my favorite thing about ranch is that it has that fresh flavor, but it also has like that acidic, and it's creamy at the same time. So it's like a party in your mouth. So we have the creamy elements, we have the fresh, so we need to add the acidity. So we're gonna add just a little bit of white wine vinegar and a little bit of lemon juice. Oh, I'll let you use your muscles to open that. And I'm just gonna cut my lemon. I'm only gonna use like a teaspoon of each. I like things on the more acidic side. I'm not gonna let him pour that in there because it'll be way too much. Let's get you a measuring ingredient. So just a spoonful of that. All right.
Very nice. That's it.
So that's all we need. Last thing, we need to add in a little bit of salt. Salt goes in everything. It's what adds flavor. It really enhances things. So go ahead and add in the salt. I should watch you. Not nearly enough salt.
Well,
Don't be afraid
I
to
don't
salt.
cook with salt.
So this is actually sea salt.
Okay.
And it looks big, but actually the bigger the flakes of your salt, the more you need, because it's counterintuitive in a sense. Question.
Yeah, 2 questions. Can you go over what you put in the blender again, besides the green onion and the parsley?
Yes, so in the blender in our avocado ranch, we have avocado, we have mayo. You can use one of the whole 30 approved mayos. We have coconut milk, just the coconut cream on the top, so the thicker part. And we have salt, garlic, lemon juice, and a little bit of white wine. Vinegar, not white wine. You can't have alcohol in all 30. If you don't have one or the other, if you don't have lemon or you don't have vinegar, you can just use all of one instead of having both of them. It's just the acid component. And it's going to add slightly different flavors, but it won't be the end of the world if you only use one of them. All right. Also, before I blend this up, I want you to peel this sweet potato. 6 minutes in. Does it seem done to you?
Hot potato, yes. Very
It's
much.
not so hot.
It's a hot potato. It's burned my hand.
Really?
It's soft.
It's soft, exactly. So how do you know if your sweet potato is done? My mom taught me this back in the day. How do you know if a potato is done? You just stick a knife. If it goes in easily, perfectly
Good
done.
to go. Okay.
Yep. Question?
Question, yes. One with 2 questions. So one question is, do you prefer broccolini over regular broccoli when you're cooking your favorite dishes? Both of you.
I think that broccolini is like a little more elegant. It's honestly the same exact flavor. But it's just a little more elegant because of the stalks, and it's like just more delicate than broccoli. Yeah. I guess like when I'm cooking for clients, if I'm test cooking for someone, I make broccolini over broccoli. I think that broccoli is for children.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't eat a lot. Yes.
I
Question.
like broccoli.
Another question, is this recipe safe for people who are lactose intolerant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's absolutely, it's because on Whole30, you can't have any dairy. So there's no
I'm
dairy
lactose
involved in
intolerant
here.
And
Yes.
gluten, and I can't even do gluten, so approved by my stomach.
It's approved. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and blend up this in my blender. Make very light work of this. Don't make me a liar, Vitamix.
I gotta get one of these. It's good.
Only $500.
They're expensive. So the avocado really thickens up this sauce. So it's literally, it looks like ranch. And I'm not gonna over blend it because I wanna have those like kind of bits and textures and pieces inside. But before we actually eat this, let's taste it. Oh, I should have got 2 spoons. I forgot you're here. Here you go. What do you think?
Avocado. I like it. You probably want more salt though, right?
More salt
Yeah.
and more acid for me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add some more salt. How you properly salt something. No offense, no offense. You're still learning. You're trying. That's great. And I'm gonna add a little bit more acid. Because it is so creamy, and like I said, Blanch is a balance of creamy and acid and fresh, for me it's just not balanced enough. But you at home, if you make something and the recipe said to add this amount and you don't like it, change it. Like, it's really not that serious recipe or guidelines, just like fitness. You don't have to follow a complete fitness routine. Just do what feels good for you.
Yeah. I love it.
All right, so I'm gonna add a little bit more vinegar. That was probably like another teaspoon or so. How are our turkey burgers doing?
I think they're almost done.
All right.
You pick it up.
So how do you tell if a turkey burger is done? You can temp it, of course. You're looking for a temperature of 165 internally. Actually, you could try it yourself.
I've never. Okay.
The ones that are cooking, these have been sitting, so we don't want to temp those anymore because obviously they wouldn't be at 165. You want to make sure you're not touching the bottom of the pan.
Right.
Because then it'll be like the hotness at the bottom of the pan. What's it at?
It's going out with 144, 46. No, so it's at 141.
All right, so it needs a little bit more time. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to
All the gadgets.
put our avocado ranch in a little fancy serving bowl. This is also great. Like, you don't have to be making turkey burgers to have your avocado ranch. You could just make this and have dipped vegetables in it, or dipped chicken, or like I said, Whole 30 can be a little bland, so something like this can really make it very interesting. Question.
Really fun.
Can you go over the seasonings that you put in the turkey burger again?
Yes, the seasonings in the turkey burger: cumin, coriander, garlic, jalapeno, salt, lemon juice, mustard. Question?
Comment. Why did you do a video during NFL playoffs?
Is the game still on? I'm sorry. I don't know. People like to do other things besides watch football.
Meal prep for the week.
All right, while our turkey burgers are finishing up cooking, I'm going to do a blind taste test of our microwave sweet potato versus our oven roasted sweet potato.
I saw that.
Yeah, but you're not going to know which is which because I'm going to make you close your eyes.
All right.
All right, if you want to check, they basically look kind of the same. The microwave one is a little more wrinkly, I guess you could say. I also kind of overcooked this in the oven. You can't really burn it, but you can be more mushy or more firm. All right, close your eyes.
All right, I'm over here. I'm taking a look at your kitchen gadgets.
All right, so if you're just joining us, we're testing. I showed you how to cook a sweet potato in the microwave. And we're taste testing. Larry's going to taste test it and see if it tastes any different than the oven roasted sweet potato. Because the good thing about cooking in the microwave is it's 6 minutes versus like 40. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so any of these.
Yeah.
All right, that one's low. Okay. I cheated.
You cheated? How did you cheat?
I know.
How do you
This is
know?
the microwave
How do you know?
because it was hotter.
Oh.
But
Drat! My scientific. My scientific.
but I can taste the difference in this one because
See.
it's more flavor in it.
More well-rounded flavor,
Well,
right?
If you want to wait an hour, if you have that time to put more flavor, go for it. But if you're,
It's sweeter.
yeah.
It's definitely sweeter.
But I can tell a little bit of a difference.
But would it ruin your
No,
your
we're not.
night if
We're
you
not.
didn't?
Heck no, but it is fun. This is.
Alright. Time to plate up our dish.
Shake me some.
Titi needs to eat too. That's why she's here. She's not here to be a good friend. She's here to eat on Sundays.
Ooh.
I'm kidding. Kidding. Oop. See? God doesn't like ugly. Just dropped it on the floor as I tried to put it in my mouth. Alright. Last thing we gotta do is plate up our burgers.
Okay.
So, we are going to take our collard greens that we blanch. You want to keep them in a nice big piece. I mean, depending on the size you make your burgers, obviously. And feel free to do this any way you want. I'll bring you one too, so we can do it at the same time. The only thing that I would recommend that you do is cut out this fibrous like stem at the end, because this isn't going to taste good. So go ahead and do that. And these are really great. You can keep them in your fridge. You can and you can literally use them like a tortilla, wrap them around things, spread hummus on them. These are really good as hummus, and like bell peppers make really good rolls and wraps. All right, perfect. So you have a giant one. I have a little one. Yeah. Let's bring over one of our turkey burgers. One for each of us. Now, just like any kind of burger, you can top this with, you know, tomato, onion, bacon would be amazing. But remember, bacon is approved on Whole30, but make sure it doesn't have sugar in the packaging.
It's hard to find.
Whole30 is really hard to do unless you have a specialty natural food store around you. Like a Whole Foods or like just a natural little, shop local and a natural little one that you have in the neighborhood. All right, so then we're just gonna add on some of our sauce, because I didn't tell you guys to buy all those cool toppings, but I think honestly on this, I would probably just add tomato. I think that would be like perfect, just a nice balance. So you can add as much or as little sauce as you want, and then you can wrap it however you would like. Let's try to make it pretty so you can see the burger on the inside. I guess I only need half of mine. I don't need all that.
Alright, so I have a big one, so that's interesting. Here we go.
You can also cut it down. Don't feel like you need to use the whole collard green.
Challenge accepted.
But if you use the whole collard green, we talked about how good they are for you. They actually detox your body. So if you're looking into detoxing, collard greens are really good. And they're good for anemia protection, and they promote hair growth if you're vain and you want your hair to be nice and pretty. You're clearly want your hair to be nice and pretty. Absolutely. Over here.
This glorious beard.
All right, so we wrapped it up. Now is the time to taste. So go ahead and dig on in. Nice and juicy.
Don't be scared of salt, guys. This is delicious.
You like it? This is always the awkward moment where we're like eating and talking. But it's really flavorful, right? Would you think this is like, oh my god, I'm eating healthy and I'm so sad?
That's the way I eat. If I do, when I do go out and then the restaurant offers a collard green wrap, I go for something like this.
Yeah. So this is the way you want to eat. Don't be afraid of salt for sure if you're doing Whole30 at all. Yeah, it was so nice to have you on the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Any final questions, comments? We made our collard green wrapped turkey burger with jalapenos inside. We made an amazing, literally, I could like lick this off of my skin, avocado ranch. We tested the difference between an oven roasted sweet potato or a microwave sweet potato. There is a taste difference, but it depends on if you have the time. It's not going to ruin your day to cook it in the microwave or ruin your health, as we discussed. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, good time. It was fun. I learned a lot.
Hope you learned something. See you in not next week, but the next week after that. And this month we're focusing on healthy diets. So the next time I come on, we're going to be doing vegetarian food. So if you have any recipes or anything you're looking to try, I'm always open to discussion. Let me know. Hit me up. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, TT. Thank you, Larry. See you guys later. I hope the game's still on for you football lovers. Bye. Thank you, guys.